Corey Harris here. So today we're going to talk about storage on AWS. So we're going to cover the introduction to the storage portfolio. We'll also talk about different patterns for adopting storage for large enterprises and how you can get some quick wins leveraging AWS as a part of your storage modernization. So hope you enjoy. I'm Corey Harris, and we're going to be talking about storage on AWS. We're going to talk about why would you use AWS for storage? What is the benefit? We're going to talk about ways that customers have optimized costs and how you can reduce the on-prem footprint and leverage cloud for storage backend. And we're also going to talk about how these use cases can give immediate benefit to customers in some cases, as well as put you in a better position to strategically move into the cloud. Now, the important thing to remember here is that your transformation to cloud is a journey. And whenever you're operating in the cloud, you want to have a strong foundation on the expected outcome. From an infrastructure standpoint, we want to keep the fundamentals in place. We want to make sure that we improve the security posture, availability, and cost with the solutions that we build in the cloud. Architecturally, you want to make sure that you can enable innovation and agility. For example, not everything should be stored in a file system, right? The data lake concept was created years ago, which allowed customers to store what we would call blobs in object storage, which is different than file system storage. And so these concepts are important to note because you don't want to make one solution for every workload in your enterprise. And then lastly, but not least, you want to make sure that the business is getting benefit from these services. Implementing storage solutions is important, but also defining unit cost and making sure that you can always tie back the benefit that you are providing to your customer. First, you want to think about where is the data coming from. If the data is coming from an on-premise facility, then there are services like Storage Gateway that can handle presenting an interface that is easy to use as a mount point to then access storage resources in AWS. And for example, Storage Gateway can support file storage, block storage, and also tape storage. So this is a quick win for large enterprises to migrate their VTL tape libraries to AWS. The next thing is thinking about from a network standpoint, how am I migrating this data? So we have services such as AWS Direct Connect, which allow customers to have direct connectivity into the AWS backbone network. This network is recommended for any production workload or workload that requires dedicated bandwidth. And then you also want to think about what type of migration are you going to do. So we have services like AWS Data Sync, which operates on layer 7, an agent-based service, which provides customers the ability to handle rapid transfers of data. And this can happen from an on-premise directory or an on-premise server into AWS. And it also can support migrations of data within AWS. The beauty about AWS Data Sync is your flexibility to control the bandwidth of the data sync jobs that you create. So with the Transfer Family service, you can create secure FTP endpoints that you can provide to your end customers or to your partners. And there they can use that endpoint to safely and securely authenticate within your environment and share files. So this allows you to create that security boundary between yourself and another trusted party in which you want to exchange data assets. Now for offline transfer, we do have a number of services as well. So we have what we call the Snow family of services. The most common one in this case would be the Snowball. So the Snowball is a durable hardware device that would be shipped to your data center. And is we would do a local copy of the data within a data center or within a server that we would download directly into the device. And this would not impact the network at all. Now these devices come in sizes of 50 to 80 terabytes. And these are recommended for customers that want to expedite migrating data to AWS without putting stress on their network, as well as customers that might need to just migrate quickly. One differentiator about leveraging the AWS cloud is how you can reduce your total cost of ownership or TCO. So as you can see from the visual, whenever you're operating on premises, there are a lot more responsibilities that are included in the overall cost to administer or manage a system. So for example, things like retrieval of data, the requests of accessing the data and data transfer are things that you would incur costs for in AWS Cloud. However, you forego cost on things like data center space and power, cooling, network, hardware, software maintenance, and human resources, right? These are now things that you don't have to worry about. And so this is an easy way for customers to reassess how much they're saving and being able to prove that they're driving down that total unit cost for the business. AWS offers the deepest and broadest storage portfolio in the industry. So starting with object storage, Amazon S3. This is a great location for customers that are looking to throw storage in a landing zone or a place where they don't know what to do with it just yet, but it's cost effective, it's flexible, and it's highly durable. A number of controls in terms of lifecycle configuration policies where you can manage the lifecycle and data sets that you may leverage in S3. The next is EBS. So EBS by default is an unformatted drive, but the beauty is that you can format it and use it for things like database solutions or even file servers. Now, of course, with AWS, we create those in managed package offerings, so you don't necessarily have to use it for a file system. But again, EBS is the rawest format of storage within AWS. And then we talked about file system storage already. We talked about Amazon EFS, which is our Linux-based native file system in the cloud. And the beauty with EFS is that it's based on consumption. So you don't have to pre-allocate how much storage I need for an EFS drive. It grows with the storage. So from a backup standpoint, we have AWS Backup, and this service is great for facilitating backups that happen within AWS. So whether you need to back up S3 buckets, EFS drive, EBS volumes, and creating and managing the lifecycle of those backup plans can be easily created with AWS Backup. So Storage Gateway comes in 3 different flavors: File Gateway, Volume Gateway, and Tape Gateway. In the File Gateway implementation, you would have an on-premise storage gateway that would be the mount point, and the actual storage would be backed by Amazon S3. Again, this is an easy way to scale beyond your current storage footprint while not incurring fees for buying new hardware to support those workloads. With Volume Gateway, you can set up 2 different types of implementations. You can either use cached volumes or stored volumes. By using cached volumes, you can use Amazon S3 as the primary data store for your application while still retaining frequently accessed data locally on the storage gateway. So the stored volumes architecture is very similar to cached volumes in the sense where you still have the local gateway device, but all of the data is going to be stored in your data center. And the gateway is going to asynchronously back up those devices into AWS S3. So instead of you having to purchase hardware to support a disaster recovery, you could use Storage Gateway to be able to easily replicate that data into AWS and fail over from a DR perspective. AWS Transfer Family was created to allow customers to have seamless integration to third parties or other unknown entities. So with AWS Transfer Family, you can present an FSTP interface to another customer, which will allow them to securely share files with you in your AWS account. This is very common for customers looking to exchange data sets between third parties, as well as set up trusted integration and instill those security boundaries. The Snow family products are very useful for customers looking to migrate upwards of about 10 terabytes of data into AWS, especially when they do not want that data to traverse over the network. This is typically for large scale migrations in which you want to do a bulk migration of data at a certain state, and then you might want to do the ongoing data updates with other services. Now let's talk about what customers are building using these storage solutions in AWS. A lot of times customers initially will look for non-disruptive opportunities to incorporate modernization. This typically will be things such as backup and restore or archival data. Customers will leverage Storage Gateway to act as a broker to migrate those tape libraries into AWS and fully retire tape infrastructure. Another use case in which customers get immediate benefit from AWS storage is home directories. So instead of deleting that data and losing data that you might need in the future, customers will migrate off of the on-premise infrastructure supporting those drives and retire that infrastructure. Now, while we can achieve business value by migrating some of the easier workloads such as home directories or archival-based workloads, we also can support mission-critical workloads as well. So these are things like SAP or Oracle, SQL Server, things that require a lot of transactions and are highly intensive from a database and storage perspective. The beauty is that our EBS service has a number of different storage types that can support these workloads. So whether you have a highly transactional database that has a certain amount of throughput or IOPS it needs to adhere to, we have storage that is specific in that dimension where you can use IOPS as the driving factor to cater to your performance KPIs. We also have general purpose storage that is more flexible and blended between cost and performance as well. Now, enterprises often look at migrating backup, restore, and archive data because they can enjoy the advantages of scalable, durable, low-cost cloud storage with a simple and quick migration. Now, customers can use Storage Gateway as a virtual tape library or as a file storage destination or target for their backup infrastructure. Because practically every enterprise backup system or information management software integrates directly with Amazon S3 or S3 Glacier. So this makes moving that data into the cloud as easy as just flipping the bit or changing the backend destination for storage. Now, for backup and archival data that has to be in a file system, migrating that to Amazon EFS is also equally as simple. So moving to the cloud enables you to reduce the significant costs of securing, storing, and managing the data on on-premise arrays. And for example, Dow Jones eliminated over 30,000 tapes and reduce their monthly disaster recovery costs by more than 50% by using Storage Gateway. So if you have any developers that are leveraging Windows directories or any NFS shared drives, then leveraging Amazon EFS or Amazon FXX for Windows is a great home for that data in the cloud. So we talked at a high level about data lakes. So here are 4 example tenets of what data lakes can provide a customer. So one, it allows you to consolidate all your data. So the premise of a data lake is to leverage a flexible storage as a landing zone. You want to be able to collect all of the raw data that you might be using in your environment. So an applicable solution for this would be Amazon S3 because it is object-based and there is no mandate around the type of files you can store in S3. The next is you want to be able to process and analyze that data. Amazon has a wide variety of ETL tools within the AWS Glue portfolio that allow customers to perform ETL on that data, to discover raw data, to discover unstructured data. And we have services like Athena, which allow you to run SQL-based queries on unstructured data, leveraging that logical schema that is inferred by our Glue service. And also machine learning is something that you also want to think about when creating a data lake, because typically you want to do something with that data, whether it's visualization or it's business intelligence. And of course, because machine learning has become very vital in providing enhanced business intelligence, we always love to enable machine learning within data lake as well. Here's another example of modern applications using the storage solutions in AWS. So imagine you have an on-premise server that has a file directory that it uses within its lifecycle, and you also want to move that asset into the cloud. And then you realize that there's other resources in the cloud that may need to access that same information. So rather than duplicating the data, you can leverage a service such as EFS, which can provide that home directory or that shared file drive, which all your servers could be leveraging, whether they're EC2 instances, VMs in the data center, or whether it's a Lambda function, or whether it's something running in a container. So EFS is an easy way to provide that shared access to data across different workloads running on different platforms. So if you look at the visual here, you'll see a lot of common names in terms of technology partners and consulting partners. So for example, lots of customers are using things such as Veeam or Cohesity, NetApp for storage, etc. And they all have partner products that integrate deeply with AWS, allowing you to still leverage AWS backed storage while using a partner product because it may fit well into your ecosystem of tools that are approved within the enterprise. We have a large amount of partner support from partners such as Presidio, who even recently announced a deeper relationship that they're building with AWS. And here is just a short list of common customer names and public references that are adopting AWS for their storage needs. We'll be happy to connect you with someone on the team. Reach out to us if you have any questions. Hope you learned something today. And stay tuned for the next video where we'll be talking about maximizing storage performance, and we'll also do a hands-on lab implementing some of the security best practices as well as performance optimizations on the storage services. Thank you.